Welcome back to another instant reaction edition of the Knight Report podcast. I'm Mike Broadbent. Joining me is my co-host Richie Schneider and Rutgers beat writer Craig Epstein. Guys, we're recording this about an hour and a half before the kickoff of the Minnesota game, and a big news item just dropped. Sam Brown, who seemed like he was going to be okay to play in this game, is now out for the year with a lower body injury. So we're going to get into that. But first, this podcast is brought to you by BetOnline. Basketball is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends on BetOnline. And as your continued source for all your sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. It's always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. You'd head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts.
And we're also sponsored by Adam Goldman. He's the franchise coach. You want to change up your life, change up your career a little bit, he's the guy to go to. He's a Knight Report member, Rutgers football fan, Rutgers basketball fan, Watchung Hills native. So he's a Jersey guy just like you. Give him a call today, and you can start up your own franchise right away. 844-800-3726 or franchisecoach.net, and you can kind of own your new business immediately.
Yeah, so guys, this is obviously a devastating blow to the offense. Sam Brown has been a bit of a revelation for this team, and I think one of the main reasons why there was some renewed excitement after Sean Gleason got fired, because he was going to play more. In his last 3 games for Rutgers, he's gotten over 60 carries. Last game, he had his first 100-yard rushing game against Indiana, and he scored his first touchdown against a division, an FBS opponent. On a scale of 1 to 10, guys, how devastating of an injury is this for Rutgers?
I guess I'll start. It's pretty high up there. I don't know if I'd go 10, but it's got to be pretty close to that. This is the guy that was getting the offense going. He was running the ball phenomenally. I think he was just levels better than what Kyle Monangai was doing, what Al-Shadi Salam was doing. Now, mind you, Salam looked good at times. Monangai's had his moments over the past couple years, but no one was doing what Brown was doing. He was patient with the run game. He would let things develop with the offensive line. They would create a couple holes here and there. He looked really good. So it is a really tough loss for this Rutgers offense, especially one that's been struggling and one that has a new OC who, in game 1 as his interim OC, none started him at running back. So now it's like, all right, well, shit, now we got to find another running back to go, or go back to Monangai or Salam. Maybe Aaron Young comes back, but this is a devastating blow for Rutgers.
Yeah, just same idea. I think for 1 to 10, it would probably be an 8. The only other person I think could be a worse injury for Rutgers at this point would probably be like Wimsatt. But yeah, I mean, this is brutal for Rutgers. For an offense that was kind of struggling for much of the year, he was kind of that shining light for them. Like Lee said, last season they had 28 carries, really his first kind of welcome to college football type of game. And he really looks like the number 1 back for Rutgers, not just for this season, but for going forward. So to go down with what they call the lower body injury, it kind of seemed like a foot injury is kind of what they said after the game. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, something to do with the foot. I mean, I don't know. I guess we can never be 100% sure, but it's just tough to see him go down because he was definitely Rutgers, the kind of the shining light for them so far this season.
Yeah, and he was Rutgers' highest-rated player on offense in terms of PFF grade. He was the 33rd overall running back with an 83.3 grade, and that ranks him. He's 33rd out of 506 qualifying running backs. He finishes his freshman season with 86 carries for 374 yards and 3 touchdowns, 4 catches for 19 yards. He was averaging 4.3 yards per carry. We have some reinforcements at running back that are potentially going to make their season debut on offense. That's Aaron Young. Aaron Young's been out since he got hurt in the bowl game against Wake Forest. He didn't play at all in the spring. I don't think he played at all in training camp. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. How big of a boost is getting Aaron Young back, given the news that Sam Brown's out for the year?
Actually, before the season started, one of my bold predictions was Aaron Young was going to lead this team in carries and yardage at running back. I thought he was the starter, if healthy. Obviously, he wasn't healthy. He was still pretty dinged up. I thought he'd make it back by training camp. He didn't, like you mentioned. So it might have to shake off the rust a little bit here and there. But he's the best pass catcher back out of the entire group, in my opinion. Shiano mentioned it on Monday. He could play slot, he could play running back, or it might have been Wednesday, whatever. But he could do a little bit of everything. He's that multi-purpose, I guess that all-purpose type back that kind of died off a little bit over recent years. But he can do it all. And then you saw glimpses of like how he can run the ball too against Wake Forest. He ran, mind you, Wake Forest's defense wasn't great, but he still averaged 4.7 yards per carry against a pretty good ACC team last year. So I mean, I think he comes in, and I think he'll, if healthy, we're still waiting to hear on what the word is there. But he played last week in special teams. If he's healthy, he's got to be the starter in my opinion, 100%.
Yeah, and just assuming Aaron Young is back, like you said, I think that will definitely help in the passing game, which at Rutgers so far has been a team that really needs all the help it can get in that department. And he'll also help probably, I would say, with blitz pickup. And I guess, I mean, as bad as the Sam Brown injury is, Rutgers is kind of loaded at backfield. I mean, you still have Kyle Monangai, who will, I mean, still, he's been a solid guy really ever since he got here. You still got Ashadi Salam, who's kind of seen his role kind of dwindle since kind of the emergence of Brown. He's not the kind of downhill runner that Brown is. He kind of goes from side to side, but no, you still got Kyle Monangai, who kind of can be like the hammer. You got Al-Shadi Salam, who can be the lightning, and they can try and pick up where Brown left off. It's funny because the Brown injury to me kind of feels similar. It's funny enough, I'm wearing this shirt. It kind of feels like the Jets with Breece Hall, where it's like he's like the emerging young guy, future offensive superstar of the team goes down with an injury, down with a year. And it's brutal because, that's your guy. You're watching him become what you hoped he could be, a superstar running back. But, the Jets still have Michael Carter. They made the trade for James Robinson, so they still got a good 1-2 punch of running backs. So to me, it kind of feels similar. It kind of does kind of mirror each other between Rutgers and the Jets.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. I have Breece Hall in my dynasty league, and I've just been torn apart by injuries this year. I also have Jamar Chase, Trey Lance, so light a candle for that team. But it's easy to forget that Aaron Young, he led the team in touchdowns last year. He had 5 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. He averaged 3.7 yards per carry last year, which obviously isn't great, but he also had 12 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown in the passing game. He's got 50 career catches as a receiver out of the backfield. I do think he brings a different element to this. We'll see how much they choose to use him, or if they choose to kind of do more of a rotation. But obviously, it's a huge blow, and we're learning about this just before the Minnesota game. I don't think we really have a ton more to say about this issue. Is there anything else you guys wanted to cover regarding his injury?
It's just kind of, I think another part of it that's just a huge blow is how sudden it came. It was like after the game last week, it felt like, they came out, he finished with his 20 carries, came out of the game a little bit early, so you knew he had an injury. You just didn't know how serious. And after the game, Shiano was talking. He mentioned it, but he didn't seem too nervous about it or anything like that. And then Sam Brown even walked into the press room afterwards. I didn't see any limp, so I didn't really think anything of it. And even the beat reporters around me were asking him, that was one of the last questions was, "How's your foot?" And he just says, my foot's okay. Just got to do. I think it's okay. Just got to do some recovery stuff, and I should be good. So to me, it was just it was like a little something going on in the background. It wasn't even really much of a story. So to see it I guess maybe it could be one of those things where in the moment, you don't feel anything, nothing's wrong. But as the week goes on, they look at it again, and they're like, hey, there's something here. And next thing you know, he's out for the year. So it's just, that's another part that's such a brutal blow, is just how sudden this news came.
Yeah, I mean, they were very optimistic at the beginning of the week that he would be able to go, and obviously something got worse, or progressively worse, over the past couple days. It even sounded like Wednesday, he was probably going to go, and then all of a sudden this news just came today, and it is a big blow for this offense, especially because I'm looking now, well, between Monangai and Salam, they averaged 3.3 yards per carry this year. It's brutal. But you did mention Aaron Young's yards per carry, Mike, and they're not good either. But interestingly enough, he's never actually he's only had double-digit carries once in his career at Rutgers, and that's back in 2019, and he averaged 5.7 against Illinois. So, I mean, optimistically thinking, you think if he's healthy, he goes, and he's your lead back, and you kind of go from there. I think he could actually produce quite a bit. And like I mentioned before, I had him as a preseason leader at the running back position. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and there's another element to a guy, if he's truly 100%, there's not many guys that are truly 100% at this point in a football season. So he's got fresh legs. He's going to be going against a defense that it's kind of gotten beaten down the last few games against Purdue, against Illinois, and against Penn State. So there's a potential that he could come in and just be like that spark and have that freshness that nobody else on the field has. So kind of in a wait-and-see mode with Aaron Young. I can't see them giving him a full, RB1 workload on his first game back unless he's, just truly 100% and truly way better than the other guys. But I do think he could be a spark that this offense needs.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can really ask for. We mentioned everything pretty much. This running back room just took a big blow, and this offense took a big blow. Interim OC, so now it's up to Nuns to try to figure this out.
Yeah, I don't envy his position at all. I think a lot of the fans were, including myself, one of the things that was keeping us tuned in was seeing what Sam Brown could be the rest of the year, how an offense kind of focused around a workhorse running back would look. And a lot of enthusiasm probably got sucked out the window, but there's still 5 games left in the season. There's still a chance for a bowl. We only need 2 more wins. One of those games that's winnable is today against Minnesota. So if they could pull this win off, season's still alive. If they lose, I think it's pretty much over.
What's the line at now?
So it hasn't moved. No, I thought it would move. It hasn't moved at all. It's still at 13.5 or 14, depending on your sports book that you use. So
makes you wonder if they knew.
That is a good question because I thought the line didn't make sense from the start. So the fact that it hasn't moved, these guys, I don't know if there's like some kind of crack team of reporters or information gatherers at these books. I'd imagine there are because
somebody's got to inform me, whoever makes the NFL odds, because Vegas has been brutal with the NFL this year.
Ridiculous.
I mean, underdogs all season have been crushing it in the NFL. I think they're hitting at like an absurd rate, like over 60%, which is usually
big blue baby
for like
big
the
blue
first
baby.
few years. It's fine.
Let's hope that continues tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, you guys both got tough games, surprisingly tough games against Seattle
and
underdogs
tomorrow at home against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, we'll see. Patriots looked like absolute garbage last week against the Bears on Monday night. So
yeah,
I couldn't trust putting any money on the fraudulent New England Patriots right now. But all right, guys. Well, we wanted to get this out to you as soon as possible before the game, and hopefully it doesn't bum you out too much. But this has been another edition of the Knight Report podcast. Go Rutgers, beat Minnesota.